Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachiku. First off, the top stories. Ekiti State threatens to demolish houses on waterways. Edo community bans sale, consumption of beef over kidnapping, killings of kingsmen by headsmen. Catholic Church shut down over 15 parishes in Benue over headsmen attacks. Senator Abba Moro decries ongoing attacks on Benue South communities. In the political scene, Atiku, Peter Obi's interest clash, Amechi tipped as presidential candidate in emerging coalition. In a very recent development as well. Also, Nyesom Wike discloses that he did not agree to the state of emergency imposed in Rivers State. Tension in APC over automatic tickets as governors mobilize against Tinubu Ganduje's plan. Federal government declares a public holiday for Salah. Also, Wike discloses Fubara became a tool for his enemies to attack him. And on stories outside the shores of Nigeria, Trump again calls out Russia for not obeying peace treaties. Details now. Desertification, ensure regular desilting of waterways, encourage tree planting, construction of flood barriers, avoid building on flood-prone axes, and encourage community-based disaster strategies. While in Edo State, residents of Ilelu village in Era community in Owan East local government area of Edo State have banned the sale and consumption of beef following the alleged incessant kidnapping and killings of their kingsmen by suspected headsmen. While residents disclosed this during a protest at the community on Saturday. The protesters, made up of both young and old, also threatened to relocate to Edo State Government House for alternative shelter if the state government does not urgently come to their aid, as the community is no longer inhabitable. The residents in their lie around a broad-based opposition coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. Former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Chukwuemeka Amechi has emerged as a possible consensus candidate. This was disclosed by sources close to the alliance. Although former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the Labour Party's Peter Obi were initially central to the coalition's agenda, both men have reportedly held firm to their individual ambitions, particularly Peter Obi, who is said to be insistent on running alongside his 2023 running mate, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed. A steering committee member within the coalition disclosed to correspondents that Amechi was being prepared as a fallback option. He says, and I quote, "With the way the coalition is going, some of us have noticed the unyielding positions of Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and earlier on today, Wike remarked that Fubara has permitted himself to be manipulated by his adversaries to oppose him." He went further to disclose, however, that while reconciliation efforts are on, the boat rocking is on Fubara's case, saying that it's beyond an apology. It's more of an attempt to meet those who needs to be met for this matter to be resolved. Let's take a quick listen to Nyesom Wike during the press conference earlier on today.
You do understand. Yeah, it's not fair right now to lift the state of emergency.
I'm not the president who declares state of emergency.
Yeah, but it's your state. Do you think there's a
No,
lot
no,
of peace?
if Mr. President had called me that time, I wouldn't have agreed for state of emergency. So he knows. He doesn't want to lift. He has everything on his I don't know.
But politically, Is it right?
I have never supported. So the issue of becoming is right or not, it does not arise.
But
what I said was that his declaration of emergency was to save the governor, because the governor was almost impeached. That was not our own hope. We wanted Afukuru to fight me. You see, when people talk about resolution, sometimes when I go back, in my quiet moment, I play the video of the speeches of the governor. What he said, what he did to me. I would. Was it necessary? This was somebody who brought you, gave you food, gave you everything, did this for you. Then he became a tool for his enemies to fight him. We're all human. I don't have problem. If you want to make this, he has the knife. He said he was traveling. He traveled. I have not seen that day. So when people talk about it, I don't laugh. I mean, it is not to go on television to say, please, I don't know. Okay.
All right, that was Nyesom Wike right there, where he organized a press conference to address the situation, specifically with what Rotimichi said concerning the fact that he is hungry, and also about coalition talks, and where Amici made a couple of remarks which he responded to, and the process of journalist arrangement in their respective states. The issue may be tabled before APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje shortly after the Salah holidays in Abuja. Some APC governors have reportedly adopted a cautious stance, wary of openly confronting the arrangement because of the president's involvement. Others, however, remain openly opposed. Reacting to this controversy, the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, stated that he would align with whatever position the party decides. Speaking through his chief press secretary, Honorable Oguwike Nwachukwu, he said Uzodinma, as a loyal party man, will follow the party's decision in respect of automatic tickets to lawmakers. He, however, clarified that he was speaking strictly on behalf of Governor Uzodinma and not the other APC governor. Dr. All right, good evening and thank you for staying with us. This is still the World News right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. I have Barrister Fred Nzako joining us via the telephone. Barrister Fred, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good evening to our dear listeners. How are you doing?
Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Barrister Fred, let's quickly jump into the situation in Benue. Barrister Fred, there have been consistent attacks in Benue community, even in Edo State. Barrister Fred, if you must know, the Catholic Diocese has disclosed that 15 parishes have shut down due to the persistent headsmen terrorist attacks. Okay, now that is not the only situation ongoing. Also in Edo community, they have banned the sale, consumption of beef because of the incessant kidnapping, killings of kinsmen and headsmen. Now, if you also recall, very recently there was a kidnapping of women in a particular vehicle on the road, a Benue Link bus. They kidnapped those women.
That they are no longer hiding their intention, and their intention is to take the land of the Benue people. The former governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, openly accused Fulani herdsmen as being the marauders that have been attacking the people of Benue. The government has not been able to do anything right from the time of President Muhammad Buhari. And consistently, the people of Benue have been under intense attack. Meanwhile, the problem initially was the issue of grazing roads. And Benue now made a law that they called anti-grazing law that did not allow herders to move around with their animals grazing on the farmlands of people, thereby destroying the crops and their farmland. That has continuously been an issue of a problem between the herders and the farmers. It is no longer an issue of herder-farmer class. It is now a case of terrorist farmers terrorist herdsmen attacking Benue State farmers with a full intention to rout them from their ancestral land and take over the land. It is as straightforward as that. And the security agencies all know this. The problem we have as a country is why can't this, which is itinerant animal husbandry, to stationary one that you call ranches. Government bought the idea, but government has slacked in implementation. The current government raised up a committee to advise government on such issues. The committee is headed by Professor Atahiru Jega, the former INEC chairman. They had presented their report, but up to today, the report has not been implemented, whatever reason, and yet the people of Benue are suffering more. The army, the police, the SSS, the Navy, the Air Force, all of them, even civil defense. The only one that is in the hands of the government are just the local vigilantes. We've talked about state police. It has always been a political issue instead of those in authority making it a security issue. The discussion around state police is not for politics, it is for security. Now, that issue of state police structure has been kept in abeyance. People are dying on a regular basis. The difference between the attacks in Benue and the attacks in places like Zamfara and Katsina is that those in Zamfara and Katsina are aimed at exploiting illegally the solid minerals under the soil. So anywhere they perceive there is a solid mineral or there is an exploitative report that there's rich solid mineral there, they will create a crisis situation, create insecurity in the environment so that they will go in and mine those solid minerals. But the issue of Benue is entirely different. It is an intentional attempt to drive away the indigenous people who own that land and take over the land from them for the purposes of animal husbandry and animal grazing. But some people now believe that it goes beyond that. Recall that federal government sometime under President Muhammad Buhari tried the Ruga option, it failed. They tried the water settlement system, it failed. They tried the animal grazing route, it failed. To settle them, they made demands of about 3 trillion naira. The federal government made Central Bank of Nigeria to pay them 500 billion naira. It was reported in most Nigerian papers that MACBAND, the cattle breeders association that is called Mietiala Cattle Breeders Association, was paid 500 billion just to make them look the other way. Yet, the government of Buhari could not make them look the other way. The government of Buhari has exhausted its tenure. 2 years into Tinubu's regime, the problem still persists. It now seems that the government lacks the will to secure the people of Benue. The governor of Benue State has been a whipping boy. So the same way the former governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, continued to whip when they continue to attack Nimbo And up to today, Nimbo is still under attack, and that is the flank.
Blame any Nigerian, specifically residents from that state, to think that there is a deliberate plan by the federal government to clear out the originals of that state. Is it possible that would you blame them if they have that kind of line of thought in regards to the careless, lackadaisical, nonchalant attitude from those who promise to safeguard the people that actually put them in power?
The problem in Benue Plateau is not a deliberate one by the federal government. The only thing is that federal government does not seem to be acting appropriately. And the reason is because the problem is enmeshed in politics. Politics and politics. The Fulani nationality that has always been fingered by the people of Benue as being the attackers. I mean the headsmen from Fulani as being the attackers. The Fulani elite had not found it very palatable to digest. They felt that they were being profiled. And that was the major problem they had with Samuel Ortom. And they continue to have that same problem. Today, the party in power at the center is the party in power in Benue State. And they find it, again, difficult to profile or to call out the Fulani. Recall that there was an interview granted by the current governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, who said that the Fulanis are international people, that they can come anywhere, settle anywhere, and own the land. It's a very strong statement that ordinarily Nigerians should not take with a pinch of salt. Recall that the federal government under Buhari said that the people that are attacking the communities in Benue and Plateau are not Nigerians, that they are not Nigerian Fulani, that they are from outside Nigeria. Now the question is, so federal government will stand idly by, arms akimbo, while non-Nigerians will migrate from outside Nigeria to come and be attacking Nigerian indigenes, Nigerian citizens, and the government will do nothing. Or the government will be seen to be doing nothing. All politics. Today, 2027 is coming. Government is more interested in calculation of where to get more votes. What is uppermost in the minds of leaders and politicians is the permutation of where the vote will come more from. And then some of them will begin to feel or begin to imagine that they allow further attacks on the Fulani nationality, that some of the states controlled by the Fulani elite may have political differences with the center. Therefore, let us keep managing the situation until after then. People are dying every day. I speak not as an expert, but I speak as an observer. I'm only echoing the opinions of experts, security experts, and those who are in the know of what is going on. That Benue State is not at the border. It's not a border state. It does not have another country bordering it. Benue State is at the middle, in the north central, yet there are continuous attacks on Benue. Meanwhile, that is the food basket of the nation. And by so doing, Nigeria's food security is being adversely affected. So every policy of government that is aimed at enhancing agri productivity will be only on paper. When you come to implementation, it becomes zero. Because the land that is supposed to produce the food are not being cultivated because of insecurity all around the federation.
Barrister Fred Nzako.
And we have security agencies and organizations
They really needs to pay attention to it. The administration, while commemorating its 2 years in office, said that they had actually been able to work on insecurity, and that the level of insecurity in the country has abated a little bit, that they have been very strategic in handling insecurity. I don't think with what we're currently experiencing in certain states lately that is the case. A movement of goods and properties can no longer be efficient because of the fear of these individuals locking around and using people's lives to make money. All right, Barrister Fred Nzako, let's move on to a little bit on the political climate. For example, what's his name? Nyesom Wike very recently, just today, actually organized a press conference, and he said something. You know, he talked about the fact that Fulbara became a tool for his enemies to fight him when they asked him questions about peace talks. And he also said that if the president told him he wouldn't have supported a state of emergency, what he wanted was for the impeachment of Fulbara
above every other thing in River State. Now, the state of emergency has been imposed as illegitimate as many Nigerians view it, by sacking the elected government and imposing a dictatorship, and has not gone down well with the people of Rivers, but yet the people are patiently waiting for the 6 months to expire by a fluxion of time. And every month, Chief Nyesom Wike will ignite the issue to continue to keep it on the front burner. What does that tell you? It tells you that he's creating the ground for there to be unsettlement of the issue even after the expiration of the state of emergency. That is simply how many people have viewed the continuous reference of the relationship with food will all leave the stage. And whether they do it well or not, only time will tell. But I can tell you that democracy is on trial. And as we approach 2023 election, more eyes will still be on the gladiators because democracy is still on trial in Nigeria. 25 years, 26 years after this, the Republic, you cannot beat your chest and say, we are making progress. You cannot. Check out the level of impunity everywhere. Everywhere. Is it in the police? Is it in the judiciary? Is it in the executive? Is it in the ministry, department, and agencies? Everything around Nigeria shows that the country is not moving in the right direction. We are making progress in the negative sense of it. So what we are getting in Nigeria is negative development, which does not augur well for the growth and positivity of our nation.
All right, Barrister Fred Nzako, thank you so much for patiently taking your time to give us your insight and even some background, in-depth historical perspective to the questions posed at you on the news at 6 p.m. We sincerely do appreciate your input.
Many thanks.
Thank you, Barrister Fred.